All right, here we are on the Wrongboarding Forum. It's a pretty cool website, but what we're focused on today is the Share Your Setup, Roast Your Other Setups page. I asked y'all on Instagram to submit your setups for review and, more importantly, for roasting. So here we go. I'm not too mean of a guy. I'm critical, but I don't know how much roasting we'll be doing. So 1 minute ago, Liam, you just got in under the wire. Here we go. So if you see that I've skipped over your post here, it's because I've already reviewed it on Patreon. I did a little tester to see if this video format worked, if it was fun for me, and if it was fun for viewers. So I put a couple posts on Patreon a few weeks ago, but I really wanted to turn it into a real YouTube, possibly series, but at least a video for this one time. So let's go. Most recent, we've got More Meat by Liam. All right. Hell yeah. Okay, so we've got a meat grinder, probably the most unique manufacturer out there. And if I remember correctly, meat grinders are pretty lightweight. They're really thick on the sides, but they're like a foam core carbon thing, maybe. I'm not very well educated on meat grinders, but I would love to review them one day. And aesthetically, this is very pretty. But a lot of people know that having a little bit heavier setup makes your free riding a little bit more chill, controlled, but it's not at all necessary, especially when you're skating Valkyries. Looks like you've got the seismic bushings in the Valkyries. That seems to be really popular. Most people skating Valks here in Cincinnati are on seismic bushings. So it seems like a nice fit. And you've got on the blank checks little kind of thinny free ride wheels. They're surprisingly more durable than you would think they were for being a clear wheel. But this setup seems like a free ride beast. I actually don't really have any roasts for it other than free riding's all you're gonna do on it. Cause Valks are not good in corners, and I will fight you on anybody that tries to. What have we got here? Okay, so somebody carbon wrapped their Clark Ghost Augustine with the Gold Rogues classic setup on the Alphas. This arrow kit is sick. Is it made from sheet metal? I'm trying to figure out what this is made of, because it doesn't look 3D printed, but I really dig this. Now, interestingly enough, a lot of top riders have stopped using arrow kits on their boards. Don't know why. It seemed like a big thing 2 years ago, even last year. I feel like I saw a lot of arrow kits on boards, and a lot of the top riders have stopped using them entirely. So I don't know if it's because nobody's really figured out the right, formula, the right size and design to actually reduce drag. So it might be useless, but they do make your board sound like a spaceship. The way that they create a cavity under the board is like a drum almost. It has this really cool sound. Yeah, I like this setup a lot, but I wonder if you got a bum front Rogue Kingpin. Every single gold 2020 Rogue I've tried has a loose front Kingpin. I wonder if yours has that too. So -1 points for the gold Rogue, but honestly, seems like a really sick setup. All right, Jerry, what you got? I have seen this setup in person at Tepe. We've got these Zealous are beat to hell, but it looks like you've got 88 Mavericks, the white slidier version. Are you doing free ride on this board, or are you dancing on this board? Because these wheels look like they have been free ridden to hell. Also, interestingly enough, we're seeing seismic bushings in the Zealous. It seems like I need to pick up seismic bushings to review or something. I forgot I had coffee. I got so excited to do this. All right, Jerry, I love the Shang Gang board. I like that you have the wider one. I'm a fan of wide boards in general, but I love my Shang Gang deck. And paired with the Zealous, It doesn't look like you have any wedged risers underneath there, so you're probably boosting up at like 54 degrees in the front truck and 22 in the rear truck. It adds like 3 degrees both front and rear. So that might be a little more twitchy, a little bit more reactive than most Zealous trucks. Maybe making it a little less versatile, but also I trust them to work at that angle. So I like those setups. I like them. I'm a huge fan of the Zealous trucks for just all around skating. Plus the white 88 wheels are really nice. They slide easy. All right, buddy. Matthew, what you got? Extremely cool boards. Okay, so we got, now I know Matthew. Fiend on a double kick, but we've got the mini marble double kick. We've got the Valkyries on the Chase Hiller and independent trucks on, is this a Zenit? No, this is a Comet board, I think, right? Yeah, Comet Shred, mini marble DK. I like the 9.3. If I were to go get a new double kick Zenit, I would ask for a 9.3. The 9 is just too narrow for me with my size of feet. Just doesn't work out. But I dig these setups. Although, you know, you've got your versatile freeridey board here. You've got your Street Slayer, like, driveway slasher here. But this is your big wheel board. This is your go fast board. I don't think Valkyries are too good for that, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't like the way that they corner. I feel like they just don't hold a line very well through a corner, but they feel great for big slides. So I really like the double kicks, a man after my heart, but the Valkyries on your go fast board is a thumbs down. I honestly would rather use Paris instead of Valks if I'm trying to go fast. With, you know, proper bushings in there, with an insert bushing, you can really sharpen those up. That's gonna be my hottest take. It's just anytime I see Valks, you're gonna hear about it. Okay, what are these? K6 on the Excalibur. Whole lot of turtling where the wheels poke out beyond the rails. But if you guys know anything about me, I don't give a damn about rail match. I don't think it matters at all. So no downvotes from me for not rail matching. This is pretty sick. I like this a lot. But I want to figure out what these wheels are. Are they the Lorenzo wheels? Yes, more Lorenzos. I didn't even see the name, Lucas. I should have known it was you. I thought you rode Valkyries, bud. Thought you rode Valkyries. That's my own foot stop design. Immediate 10 points. This is how you rank higher in this game we're playing. Now the Excalibur is 6, so I stood on his board. And the, what is it, camber? So there's rocker, and then there's camber. And under the front foot here, the board kind of slopes down, has a camber effect. And I thought I was going to hate it when I stood on the board, but actually it felt really natural. And it does actually kind of make sense for free riding, surprisingly enough. Usually in the front truck, I like to have a big old wheel flare, like a nice upward curve to push my foot into. But I was really surprised how natural the camber felt on this board. To me, it just looks like you might have too much of your weight biased on the front trucks just based on this torque block placement. You might be too forward on the deck to be like perfectly balanced, but no. I like this. I haven't gotten too much into the little board free ride, but I mean, if you're gonna do it, this is a great way to do it. And the Aras, as far as free ride trucks go, Aras are a little sharper than Valkyries, so I'm a little bit more of a, wait a minute, Sam, I don't need you to turncoat on me. Rail match is not a lie anymore. Get some narrower trucks. Nah, screw you. You think you know somebody. I like it, Lucas. This setup gave me a concussion. Is it going to give me a concussion? Oh, no. This setup also gave me a concussion. Jesus, man. What's going on? Okay, so like, do you have aluminum plates? Okay, we need a description. Yeah, re-drill. I get it. What are the metal things? What are the metal things? Okay, so he's got some like aluminum reinforcement for the where the trucks mount, but why? And that looks kind of thick too. You're adding ride height. Oh no. I was gonna say chop off the front, but if you're using these aluminum reinforcements, you can't chop it off too far. Yeah, this setup gave me a concussion. If you like the concave, just chop the deck. We don't gotta leave all that extra stuff on there. Oh no. All right, Eli. Okay. Interesting. Are these the 72A Kevos that were only at Giant's Head? Apparently, I've seen them online leaking goo. Like the urethane inside them didn't cure enough. And they actually, like, once you got deep enough, would leak, like, purple urethane uncured goo. Just gross. But as far as a little board freeride setup goes, I think this is pretty solid. The sharp, like, race Valkyrie front is good. I like it a lot for race style skating, but I was also impressed with free riding because the back with the traditional Valkyrie design still kicks out pretty easily. I like this, and it looks like you ride it well. You don't you're not babying this thing around. But you do have to let me know, are these fresh? Do they have skin on them? You gotta let me know if they slide any good. That limited edition Giant's Head 72A. And I might be wrong here, but I think the blue graphic denotes that. Yeah, I like it. Are these 115 to 125 or the 135, 145 size? I cannot tell. I would go wider, personally. Not wider than this. I mean, this looks fine, but if I'm free riding. We got another Liam. Oh, I've been seeing these. So these new meat bicycles. Some of them, the wheelbase changes a lot on different ones. There we go. There's another one. This one seems longer than this one. Overall design seems normal. 3.3 or 33.5 length. What's your wheelbase, bro? What's your wheelbase? Don't hide this from me. But I like this a lot. This deck really interests me. And I mean, the way that the artistry in all the meat bicycle decks is so good. And Zealous trucks for free ride. It looks like you've gone super soft. Double pink and taken out the hard pink in the back, swapping it with white. The double pink in the front gets a little floppy for my taste. Maybe it's my weight. But it I don't know, it just felt like the hanger kind of floated around more. Not only was it more turny and divey, which is, you know, what people are going for with that, it also kind of had the soft bushing cast truck effect where you soften the bushings and the trucks get less precise. So I always used a harder bottom than I did on top just to give it something more planted to sit on. It's not bad. I like this a lot. And the scuba weight is such an easy and nice way to go, to have an adjustable weight on there. I like this setup a ton, and it's for sure something that I would free ride. John. Hell yeah. Okay, 3 boards. Here we go. So we've got a custom Zenit with Zealous on there. Also opting for the softer rear bushing, but leaving the front truck the same. I have to give that a try. See if I like it as well. I didn't notice the rear Zealous being too hard. But again, that could be a weight thing. This is a sick little go fast setup. I like the toe wedge there. That's good. The board maybe tapers a little much for me. It's got that like Land Yachts Obsidian shape, kind of egg shape. I prefer the board to stay full size of the back truck, but I guess kind of compensating with a torque block definitely helps. This Verge board in the center looks so sick. This like fishtail or swallowtail design with this shape, always gorgeous. Always gorgeous. I love it a lot. This is really sweet. On looks like Savant Paris Savants, maybe just normal Paris. This one's interesting. So the smaller, once again, we see the new meat bike board, but on mollies, which I actually think might be slept on free ride trucks. Now they don't turn a lot. They are really lacking in turning because they have a tall, they've got a tight bushing seat that really restricts the bushings, almost like having built-in cupped washers. And so to get them to turn plenty, you want to throw sphericals in there, you want to boost up the angles, but honestly, I mean, for a free ride setup, you don't necessarily need a lot of turning. You need a strong center. And I'm sure these trucks are phenomenal for free ride. I've been free riding my downhill side-ins and I like them a lot. And the geometry is not incredibly different than a molly, just more rake. And of course the different rear hanger. I like these a lot. I really need to step on these new meat bike boards because they've been catching my eye a lot. They're gorgeous. We got the concave implant in the back on what? On here, on the Verge board? Yeah, dude, on the Verge board. I dig it. Hell yeah. Yeah, John and I worked together to work on a concave implant, and it's one of my favorite designs I've ever made. Definitely my favorite concave implant, but I like your stuff, John. Would you believe me if I tell you that my router stopped working? What does that mean? Oh. 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 Okay. Yeah. All right. So I understand what you were trying to do, which is route it down so that you can get a smaller wheelbase, which didn't work. Oh no. But really what's happened here now is that you're taking away a critical component like a spot for torsional stiffness in this deck, which, being a smaller board and a narrower board, it's got carbon top and bottom with a really nice Canadian maple construction. You're probably not really losing any, very measurable amount of stiffness. I'm sure it's still plenty stiff, but yeah. Again, I don't really like the Valkyries for grippy downhill stuff. I mean, good for free ride, but an 8.25-inch deck for free ride? I don't know, man. I don't know. How do you get your heels down? How do you get pressure on a heel side slide? I don't get it. Do you just hang your heel off the board and push the board from the side instead of like leaning it to slide? That's just a different style that I don't have. Oh boy. Well, I hope you fix your router so you can get your wheelbase down. This setup looks a little ridiculous. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm sorry for your router, Rango. I'm sorry for that board. All right, Jams. What you got? Oh, okay. I know who this is. All right. Love to see the Zealous. And this happy shape seems like one that would work really well for me. I am a fan. And it's gorgeous too. This like weird reveal of the fiberglass in there. I don't know how they actually achieved that construction. We clearly have a big Happy Board Co fan because they've got the knockoff Comet Cruiser, which is already a board I don't like. I do not like the Comet Cruiser deck. The trucks are fine, except they eat up their pivot cups, and so the pivot cups in all of those get super sloppy super fast, especially once you start changing up the geometry by adding wedging and stuff like that. Doesn't look like you've messed with any wedging here. I'm sure this is fun to cruise around on, but the thing that kills me with this type of board is the tail. When the tail is flexy, oh, it makes me sick to my stomach. And we've got a lot of overhang here on these Excaliburs. This is your free ride setup, I can see, which is just gnarly. 100mm trucks for free ride is more than I want to do, but it's not more than I would try. I would try this. I want to know more about this shape. Kind of is, it's really ugly to me. This shape looks, it just doesn't look pretty. This, very pretty. Just a classic bullet shape, very pretty. Good finish on it. This, I don't know. All right, Jonah. So your hardware was too long, so you used riptide fat cones to hold your thing in place? Is that because you were rattling a bunch? Like your hardware would loosen and then all the hardware would rattle? What's going on here? Just cut your hardware down, man. Just use shorter hardware. It's so cheap. You can go steal it from Home Depot. Looks like your board's got little titties on them. Once again, we see people going with the softer rear in the Zealous setup. I mean, I like Zealous as a whole. Looks like you've boosted up the ride height, which is unsurprising because these are deep wheel wells, and the Zealous already have a super low ride height, so I'm not surprised. Felt like you needed to raise it up a bit. The blank slates, I will make a review of these wheels because I have been skating them lately, but I don't know. I don't know, man. Why not just buy a more expensive wheel that's going to last you 4 times as long, right? It's going to be the same overall cost, except you're going to get a higher quality product that lasts longer. But I get it. I mean, especially if you buy them at an event, Marshall's usually selling them for so cheap, so it is kind of nice. But the slates, especially if you still have skin on them, which you might have skin on them, the skin on the slates makes me sick. It's bad. It's nightmare skin, and I'm not afraid of skating race wheels fresh. I do fine on fresh race wheels. The blank slates just are icky with skin. Okay, there you go. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. Putting crimes on it. Flipping them though, which is interesting. I see a lot of people do that, and I don't know if they do that because they like the feel better, or they do that because they're trying to rail match. And if you do it because you're trying to rail match, thumbs down. Only do it if you like the feel more. That's what the sport is all about. And this setup looks extremely clean. Gorgeous, actually. Got the Venom HPF, maybe? Or are these cranks? Looks like Venoms. 87A? If they're 87A Venoms, I think that's too soft. I don't know what your weight is, though. But if it's 87A Venoms in Valks with this wide, that's probably too soft. But also, I see risers on here too. So if you're using risers for wheel bite avoidance, that's fine, I guess. If you're using risers to tune your feel, like the added ride height, the way it leverages your stuff more, a thumbs up from me. If you're adding risers because you think it's gonna protect the deck, that's fake. That's not a real thing. A lot of people use soft risers because they think it's gonna protect the board, protect the trucks, but I think that's just a full-blown myth. Tim, be honest, Owen, I want hate. We've got a Dawn with robots, blank protos. Okay. All right. I already know that the install for this site thing was a huge fuck up for you, brother. And I'm going to tell everybody right now. I know shit broke and would not go back in, and it was all types of messed up. So maybe not the most user-friendly product. Is this just the same photo? Yeah, it's just an attachment. I mean, I like it. But also 17.5 inch wheelbase. I'm assuming it's a race setup because you don't have a weight on there. But I also know you try to free ride this thing. 17.5 for racing is kind of nuts. Right? Like, that's kind of nuts. Is that just the way everybody's going to go? Are you just ahead of the curve? Or are you showing us why the curve exists? Got the grub screws, torque block. You got your jewelry on there. Fancy scythe jewelry. That's all those foot stops are. All right, Tim. I like it. It's just too small. That's just too small. Also, if you're going to black out the wheel wells, black out the rail as well. It's going to get marked up. You're going to have to touch it up again, but I think it'll bring the board together in a way that'll look a little nicer. All right, Lucas. Okay, so you too broke to afford Rojas. You got the Shang Gang weight. I was about to say backwards, but this might be genius actually. Maybe I've been riding it backwards. Or maybe that's the adjustability. Because in the Shang Gang video, I made a comment like, well, the weight's not adjustable. But if you just flip it around, you bring this kind of center of mass that's up here, and you can put it more towards the back or towards the front. So I was wrong. The weight is adjustable. I put the thicker part trailing back, but I think I'm wrong for that. I actually think you've taught me something here. I mean, I understand supply demand. When Rojas are too expensive and also not available, there will be companies that come and try to undercut them with a cheaper product that's more accessible. I don't like that. I just think it's done in bad taste. Come up with your own design. But I mean, you got the little board freeride, but it's just too narrow for me. The Rocket Dawn is just too narrow. I don't get how y'all are free riding on these narrow setups. You mean we have the best setup? I don't get the reference. Oh, wait. I didn't see the communist. Alright. What's your grip tape doing down there? Oh, I know what it's doing. It's because you monkey toe, so you gotta get the grip tape on the side. The only way to get it to stick on the side without ripping off is to also put it on the bottom. I get it. Oh, I like this setup, and you taught me what to do with the Shang Gang weight, because I think I need to flip mine around, but the knockoff Rojas is kind of a bad look, man. That's all I'm saying. Okay. We got Matt with the milk stickers. Extremely based. That is more points. The cord wheels. Minimal grinding on the trucks. That means dude set his rake set up correctly. On some trucks, on some wheel, or on some of the Rojas with certain rake settings and certain wheels, you get the thing to scrape once you core the wheels. You get the hanger to scrape, but looks like you've avoided that fate. Sledgehammer, always super sick. I don't exactly know how you did it without having a bolt go all the way through. I actually don't know how you did that, but it looks good. I like it. You got to retouch up the blackout on your wheel wells, my friend. But I mean, no complaints. I mean, I bet this thing free rides like a dream. I like the way Rojas feel sliding. 18.5 wheelbase is kind of gnarly. Kind of gnarly, and the Dawn just too narrow. Too narrow, but it works for so many people that I'm realizing that I'm the problem, and the boards are not the problem. But I don't know. I don't get it. I get it on toe sides. A narrow board for stand-up toes feels pretty good, but it's the stand-up heels. Anybody on these narrow setups rarely is doing stand-up heels. All they do are squats and stand-up toes. And if that's you, if your stand-up heel game is weak, because you're like, I can only squat, might be because you're on a board that's too narrow. Kurt, what you got? Oh, that's an upsetting chop. Is this the original graphic, or did you do something here with the graphic? That doesn't look normal. Okay, all right, some stuff to unpack here. I like your taste in wheels. Why are you flipping them? Do you think they feel better that way, or are you trying to rail match? Be honest. Your trucks, they're just cast trucks plus. They didn't do anything new with the Cal 3s, man. They're the same thing as the cast trucks. They just built them in a different machine than the cast trucks. I guess they've got more base plate angles, which is nice, but you can use wedges and do the same thing. So the setup just looks weird, but it also could be one of those things where the setup is absolutely fire to ride, and I have no, like, it falls in the category of this setup could be primo to skate, But with a weird old board like this, that who knows what has happened to it. All kinds of chopping and stuff like that. It might be flexy. It might be super flexy, which I don't like flex. I have no money, but I got a jigsaw. Okay, little chop moment. Shortened wheelbase. Cronin's factory bushings look symmetrical. 3D printed footstop. Did you buy this or did you download a Riptide replica online? I think this looks nice. I think this board looks really nice to skate. It's probably flexy though, right? Like, I think Riviera's on the more affordable side of boards. I haven't seen Riviera in shops in a minute, although I think maybe Daddy's carries them. But, I mean, this seems like a fire setup, actually. I love cast Ronins. Probably the best cast trucks out there. I don't have a set for myself, but every time I've tried them, I've been extremely impressed. And your chop looks really clean. I really like that chop. Oh, we got fancy stuff. You have not used these setups enough, man. They are too clean. Your setup's got to do some living, brother. Also, do you have the same bushings front and rear, even though you're running a, what, 20-40 angle split? Is that 20 in the back? That looks pretty low in the back. I might be wrong. If these bushings are identical, you gotta have softer in the front, harder in the rear if you're gonna run a split angle setup. I mean, both of these boards seem fire, right? Like, they both seem really freaking good. They're gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, K5s are nothing special. I've skated them for a bit, borrowed a set, and they're just, again, it's just another situation of cast trucks plus. Like, they're not doing anything special other than being manufactured differently than a cast truck would. So I'm not a huge fan of Era personally. And I haven't really tried the like standard Rogue shape for freeride, so I can't comment too much if this is like a proper freeride truck or not. I mean, I know a lot of people have free-ridden on them and continue to do freeride on them, but I know the amount of lean can be a little difficult to overcome for freeride. Also, what's going on here in the back? Do you have bushing shims or are these cupped washers? Because I don't know if you're supposed to use washers on the bottom of Rogues, but if you're using a bushing shim to use like standard height bushings in these trucks, I actually think that's pretty cool. I like that modification for some tall bushing trucks. I think it's actually appropriate and it can really sharpen up your setup. I mean, it takes lean away, but when you're moving, you're not using all of your lean. So, Gabriel, what's going on? Setup for roast. Is this a race tail? 2 inches longer than stock, but you did not bother making it wider. Okay, so this is a free ride board. You made it a little longer, which is, I'm here for a longer setup. What is this wheelbase though? Yeah, it's just too narrow. Once again, we hit the same thing, which maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Size. Yeah, I mean, I like the Zealous. Again, we're seeing the white bushing on the bottom. Is this something I need to try? Have I been sleeping on this? Because I thought the pink 97 was fine. All right, I know this setup. I know it. What can I say? It's a good setup. It's a good setup. I have nothing to roast for this. I don't think. I mean, the scythes, yeah, a lot of people free ride them. I mean, what a do-it-all setup, right? Like just a one board to do it all, extremely sick. And opting for a sharper truck, a more agile, precise truck, I think is pretty cool. As opposed to going the route of having a do-it-all setup where it's just like a floaty vague truck that, you know, makes your race wheels slide easy. I like this route instead if you're going to do something. I like it. I like it. Lucas, what's going on here? I recognize this board. Okay. Is this another like fancy cup washer situation in the front, or is this a full-blown shim to ride a shorter barrel? But I don't know why you need to ride a shorter barrel in bears. The custom Zenit is sick. I like it a lot. And Otang Kegels, I'm presuming these are Kegels, are very fun wheels. Caguamas, oh no. I take back everything I said. The egg shape from Zenit just tapers too much from me. I don't know. I don't like the back taper on these boards. Caguamas, brother. Okay, looks like you've got a little D-wedge on your front truck, bringing it down to like 45 degrees. That looks maybe small for 5. Maybe it's more like 47. And a D-wedge in the back truck, bringing it down to like 35. Anytime I've slid a Caguama or seen people slide Caguamas, it has been awful to watch. It has been awful to experience, awful to watch. So I don't know if these are any good, but maybe having a nice precise truck on a stiff board can make them operate a little bit more predictably. But yeah, if you haven't already, you got to try Cannons and Magnums in your bear trucks, because they will eliminate a lot of slop from the truck, losing some lean, but at speed you don't need that lean. The big uh-oh for me is the Caguamas. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Subsonic Vega, kind of sick. -1 point for the anime sticker. Those bears look busted as hell, man. Did you leave this setup out in the rain and give it to a kid and skating blacktop in 2012? Those wheels are dark. You gotta slide those, man. Get a clean surface on there. The cone bushing is definitely a no in bears if you're doing any downhill. But if this is a cruiser, you say Frankenboard setup with spare parts, so it's not your main setup. I mean, Francisco, I know Francisco. I know what he normally rides. This is just bait. I don't like it. I mean, if it's a cruiser, it's fine. Durians are some of the noisiest wheels out there, especially in yellow. I don't know. I did just see somebody free riding some chopped durians where they like cut down the inner lip and basically turn them into like bigger flashbacks. And that seemed pretty interesting, but they usually don't sound good. Oh, and he's got some pretty bad grip tape up on here. Yeah. I know it's not your main board, so I'm not going to be too critical, but well, you got parking tickets on your board? What am I looking at? Tickets under clear grip to match the cop collar graphic. I do dig that. Actually, that is very sick. Where's the rest of your board? Okay, you just use K3s and cheat wheels. Fine. Is it a hindsight? Yeah, it's a hindsight. I mean, sick. Sick board. Show me the rest of your setup. All right, I think anything past a month ago is stuff I've already seen and reviewed. So thank you all so much for submitting your stuff for me. You're learning a lot about my preferences in gear. Mostly that I like sharp trucks, and Valkyries are not sharp trucks. But yeah, this was fun. Let me know what you think. And if you're looking for your setup, like you posted it further back, I mentioned, you can check out the Patreon. I will make the Patreon, those 2 Patreon videos, publicly available. You'll just have to go to my Patreon and scroll through, and you'll be able to watch it. Yeah, it'll be a freebie, a little freebie Patreon. You can go on there. But yeah, let me know if you want to see more of this series. Keep posting your setups on here, and you know, depending on how quickly you fill the forum back up, I will get back and review more of them. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.